Thanks for tuning into the channel. And today we're going to be talking about, can you get rich from doing Toro? But before we get into it, I'm going to ask for a big favor. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments down below. Also, check out my description box. I got a link of everything I use for Toro in there. And I got some other cool links if you want to check them out. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So can you become rich doing Toro? Now, a lot of you might read the title and thought, that's impossible, that's crazy. And I will say that a lot of people doing Toro are not becoming rich, but there's definitely a possibility to make a lot of money and even maybe become rich from it. Now, you may be wondering if that's me. Did I do that? I have not. It's just a side hustle. I've been doing it for a little over 2 years. I only have a fleet, about 4 cars. But there are people with larger fleets that have been doing it longer than I. Some people have failed and gotten off the platform, and some people have stayed on the platform and been able to grow their fleet to a rather large one and been pretty successful while they've been out there hustling and doing all those things. And now they have a great income, and they've been able to use that income to get into even other things and grow their income even more. So there's definitely a possibility. It all depends on the individual and their hard work, their luck, and everything. So it's going to be a combination of a lot of things to determine how far you can get if you decide to start. And if you already started, if if you're not doing great, what are you willing to do about it? Are you going to just give up, or are you going to look at what you're doing wrong and try to fix it? So it's really going to depend on the individual. But I'm going to give some examples on how you may be able to get into a situation where you make a lot of money. And if you're not familiar with this person, her name's Aubrey. I don't know her last name, but you can pretty much type in Aubrey Toro, and I'm sure she'll pop up. She's a young female that does Toro, and she does cash cars. Now, you know me, I don't do cash cars, I finance, but I like to know, how everyone does it. Not everyone does it the same way, and it's a good opportunity to learn the different ways out there to see what may be best for you if you decide to do Toro. You may want to do the cash cars, you might want to do a combo, but she does cash cars. I believe she has 30 cars. She grew to 30 cars, and she wasn't born with wealth. She was working hard and was able to manage to get to 30 cash cars. And actually, no, I got that wrong. I think she has one car, I think like a Lincoln Navigator that's financed, and maybe one more. So out of 32, I believe, are financed, but the rest are all cash cars. And she claims to be making about $30,000 a month just doing Toro. Now, that's amazing. A lot of people don't make $30,000 a month. So imagine starting Toro a few years back, growing your fleet, and having an income of $30,000. That's life-changing. And a lot of people with that type of income would probably quit their 9 to 5 and just focus on that. But she does other things. She's taking her Toro money and got into Section 8 real estate and other things. And she, on her latest video, I believe she's making up to $70,000. And I believe her. I know there's a lot of people on there that do YouTube that make claims, or you see on Instagram, and they're not true. I actually believe that she was able to accomplish this. And she started with Toro, grew her fleet, took that money that she's making and got into other things, and now has an amazing income with her husband. So go ahead and check her out, see how she did it. And you may want to do the cash cars. Now, you may be wondering, why wouldn't I do that? Well, I like new cars, and the reason is they have warranties. And about 8 years ago, I actually worked for a rental car company. And what I saw that they did, they would get brand new cars. They would rent them out for about a year most of the time, and then they would get rid of them. They would auction them off. And these rental car companies are rather large, and they're making a ton of money. And I saw that working for them. So since that's, what I saw, I said, that's how I want to do. I want to get a brand new car and an economical car. So I wanted to get a car that I knew I could afford the monthly payment if something went wrong. Like, let's say there's a slow month, or the car gets in an accident, something happens where the car's not producing money because it's out of commission for whatever reason, that I could cover it. So I went with the economy cars, started with a Toyota Corolla. And what I do, I buy the car brand new, have it for 12 months, and then I'll sell it. I usually will sell it to CarMax, or or sometimes I've even traded it in, whatever ends up being the best deal. So when the car's 12 months, I look at, can I just sell it to CarMax? Is it better to trade it in? It's all going to depend on the deal, but I'll analyze that when the time comes for that vehicle. And so far, I've been okay. I haven't experienced any, a lot of people say, how do you do it? Like where you're not upside down things. I've experienced where I just get right out of the car. I didn't make anything or lose anything when I sold it. Well, I did make because I made money when it was getting rented, but I mean on the loan, I got what I needed for it, basically my payoff. And in some of them, I got a little bit more. And I don't give a down payment or anything on these cars. I believe if you're responsible, you can finance the cars. There's a lot of videos out there saying, hey, don't take out debt. Don't finance things. There's a lot of people that are not responsible for debt and they can get themselves in a really bad situation. So it all depends how you manage. But, taking out a loan could be a tool for you to grow and make money. Now, some people are really against that. It just depends on how you are. When you take a loan, how are you? You're responsible paying for it. Some people I've seen that I run into, coworkers, friends, they'll get a credit card, they'll go buy things that they want with it, but then when the bill comes, they don't want to pay it, and then they pay the bare minimum, and it's like it hurts them. And they do it because they want to have more money left over from the check to keep spending it on other stuff. Well, you're not responsible. What you're going to do is you're going to rack up your credit card, you're going to max it out, you're going to have these high interest, and you're going to get yourself in a really bad situation. So that's not what I would recommend. And of course, you do what you want. I'm just letting you know what I do. I want to get the car. I want to finance it. I want to keep the money on my side. So basically, how I like to do things is when I have, when I put money away in the bank, I act like it's not there. That way it can keep growing. And then when I go do something, I'll finance it and make sure it's something I could take on, but I keep the money on my side and I use the bank's money to do my side hustles and things like that. It makes sense to me. If you do it responsibly, I believe you can be successful at it. Now, some people cannot, and it's not the best for them, and the route for them may be cash cars. Some people don't like my method. Some people may like the cash cars, and that's why in this video, I'm talking about cash cars. You might say, hey, I disagree with you, and that's okay. You could do the cash cars. You can also buy and finance like I do, or you can manage other people's cars, right? If you're thinking about doing Turo and you're like, hey, I don't want to buy a car, I don't want to use my car on the platform, well, do other people's cars. There's a company called Aura. I believe it's AURA. Look it up on Google, put rent a car. And that company started, and basically all they do is manage other people's cars. It's rather large. They put the cars on Turo and they get a cut. So there's people that do that. And you may be wondering, well, I don't know anyone that'll give me a car. You can't always depend on the people like your friends, family, things like that. You sometimes got to think about people that you don't know, because a lot of times, in my opinion, you're going to be successful with the people that you don't know, right? These people don't care if you do well or not. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to see you do well. There's a lot of haters out there. And a lot of times the people that don't want to see you doing well is your circle of friends, it's your family, it's the people that you're around. When it's a stranger, they don't care if you do well, or they don't care because it doesn't phase them because they don't know you. So I feel like with strangers, you're going to do really well. And if you're thinking, well, how am I going to you got to advertise, right? Maybe start an Instagram. I mean, I don't do this. I don't manage other people's cars, but if I, wanted to try it out, that's what I would do. I would advertise. I'd put it on social media, use any way I can to say, hey, will you give me your car? And a lot of people say, there's no way that someone's going to give me their car. Well, believe it or not, there are companies out there and there are individuals out there that are managing other people's cars. And they just say, hey, we're going to, whatever the car brings in, the owner of the vehicle is going to get, for example, 60%, and I'm going to get 40% for managing the car, right? So whoever bought that car and took, paid for that car cash or took on, financed it, they're going to get paid because they're giving you the car, right? But then it's 100% passive for them because they're not going to manage it. They're not going to deal with the people renting it. They don't have to deal with getting it maintenance and cleaned, right? You're going to do all the work, but they're going to provide the car. So it's going to be 100% passive for them, and you're going to use that car to give them money, but you're going to make money because you're going to be doing all the work. So that is another option out there. You can manage other people's car. It could also be a way that you could grow. Maybe you're using your own car and you're like, man, how can I get more cars? That could be an option, managing other people's car to grow your own fleet. Or maybe you already have a fleet. Maybe you have 5 or 6 or 7 cars, and maybe you can't get any more loans for cars because you have so many, right? Maybe that's the situation you're in, but you want to keep growing because you're successful at what you do. Well, what do? Managing other people's cars. Now, I'm not telling you to go manage other people's cars. I'm just saying these are things out there that people are doing on Turo. And some people out there have become really successful or making large amounts of money by managing other people's cars, right? They scale it, they grow it, and they end up having these large fleet, and it's just a bunch of other people's cars, and they're managing it, ends up being really successful for them. There's other people doing the cash cars, and there's going to be people that do even what I do, where they finance a car. Now, with financing, you want to be careful. There are people out there that want to grow overnight, right? They want to change their life overnight. They want to quit their 9 to 5 right away. So they might go and finance 10 cars right off the bat, right away, grow too quickly. I don't recommend that. Do it over time. I've been on the platform for a little over 2 years, and I don't have 10 cars. I don't have 20 cars. I have less than 5 cars. So I'm definitely doing it slowly. It is just a side hustle for me. But I do watch a lot of videos on YouTube, on Instagram, and I look at the Turo pages, and I see people that have grown. I've seen people that are on the platform for a long time. And what I've come to learn, these people that have these large fleets, some of them are doing this. They're managing other people's cars, and some of the cars are theirs, and some are other people. Some people are just managing other people's cars. Some people are doing the cash car thing. So there's different ways to do it. So you kind of have to think, if you want to do Toro, if you want to get into it, where do you want to fall? Do you want to manage other people's cars? Do you want to do both, where some of the cars are yours and some you're managing other people's? Do you want to do the cash route? But just like in anything, there are people that are successful at this, there are people that are not, and there's definitely risk involved. But it is something that can start small and you can grow it, make a good income, and you can take that income and put it into other things where you end up making like Aubrey in this case, making $30,000 a month where she's grown it to 70. That's amazing. And there's other stories out there like that. Now, the majority of people don't fall in these categories because these things are not easy to do. But I'm just saying people have done it, so it means it's possible. And maybe this could be you. Maybe one day it could be me. But, I do hope to continue growing the fleet. And I just want to see what's going to go on with the economy right now. There's a little bit of a slowdown. So that's important for me to realize before trying to grow a little bit more. But I wanted to put this video out there to let you know of different options out there, different channels. There's the company Aura that does it. So there's a lot of information out there for you to check out to see what you want to do, because maybe Turo may make you rich or may change your life. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you could do me a big favor, leave me some comments down below. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, check out the description box. Got some links up there that you can check out. And thanks for watching.